Friends and fam, welcome to a video with an actual setup. I'm trying some new things with OBS right now. We have the mic. If the quality isn't great, this is a $50 USB microphone, so my bad. Sorry about the big pop filter in my face too. I don't really like my mouth, so this is what we're gonna do. Enough about that. Music. Good music. Really good music. All things that I think of when I think of 2024, because this was a fantastic year for music, and one of my favorite things to do at the end of the year is looking back on the year, see what great things we had to listen to, and this year is absolutely no exception. This year was jam-packed with amazing music, especially right here at the end. We were surprised with some fantastic albums, but I'm not here to talk about albums today. I'm here to talk about songs, 100 of them to be exact. Now I know what you're thinking, Jack. Why 100 songs? That's a lot of songs. Well, here's the thing, guys. Here's a little info about me. I am an album guy through and through. So when it comes to making these sort of lists, it's really hard for me to leave stuff out because as I progress through the year, I get really into big releases throughout the year, like album wise. And so it's often very hard for me to narrow it down and pick like just singles or standout tracks or whatever. Those will obviously be highlighted with how this list is ranked. But what I usually do at the end of every year is just take all of the songs from albums that I liked, or at least the tracks in those albums that I'm comfortable enough with ranking, and then I kind of just rank them. And that's how we get a top 100. And because there were so many great albums this year, we're gonna see a lot of representation from those great albums throughout the list because like I said, I don't try to narrow it down in any way. So we're kind of just going to go for it. This is truly my top 100 songs because like I said, no stupid rules or whatever. We just do it. Now also this should go without saying, but this is my personal list. So it's going to be my personal taste in music. Just to let y'all know, if there's any genre that I try and keep up with, it is rap. Now, there is going to be a lot of non-rap on this list, but it's kind of hard to describe what this is going to include. Obviously, this is just my taste in music. I really just listen to whatever a lot of people are talking about or whatever happens to pique my interest. But that really doesn't mean I listen to every big release that comes throughout the year. I really just try and keep up with rap that I know I'll like the most and sort of the other stuff that I just find interesting. So I think this list has some pretty good variety, but don't expect me to be like the big music nerd who's gonna cover every super, critically acclaimed song that came out throughout the year. This is just what I like to listen to, what I got into this year. And yeah, hopefully you guys like it. If you think my taste is basic, then okay, that's fine. And if you think it's cool, then hit that like button. A couple notes about the list before we get into it. I did have to mention that there aren't going to be any songs from Imaginal Disc on my list. I'm not gonna lie, I just listened to it for the first time like last week. I'm gonna make an albums video after this, and I will definitely be talking about that album because as a whole, it is a fantastic experience. But in terms of getting into the individual songs, I wasn't very comfortable with ranking it, even though I do like a lot of those songs. I just figured it would be too hard to try and do that right now. I did also just recently listen to the Doechii album, and I did really like it, but again, too soon. Not going to include any of those in this list. I only ranked what I was comfortable with ranking. Speaking of only having songs I was comfortable with ranking, there was one song in particular that I had no idea how to rank despite how big of a moment it was and how great of a song it truly is in the context of what it is. As a song, I just had no idea what to do with it. I am, of course, talking about... Anyway, let's just get into the ranking. We're going to go through the list starting at 100 and we're going to kind of speed run our way through all the way through 51. And then once we get to the top half, we'll do more of a proper presentation of the songs that I have listed here. At number 100, Australian indie band Vacations with a cutoff of their new album titled Off Season. At 99, the almost hauntingly confessional I Might Say Something Stupid from Charlie XCX. At 98, it's everyone's favorite TikTok song, Million Dollar Baby, Tommy Richmond. I do want to say that that song does deserve popularity. It's super fun and it of course made my list. At 97, an absolute banger, Denzel Curry, Kenny Mason, and Project Pat with Sked. Now, this was technically a 2023 release, but when that happened, there was no Project Pat. So because this version that made the album is a new version, it makes my list. Which that reminds me, I did want to add that there are going to be albums represented here that had a lot of 2023 singles. I'm specifically thinking of Quedeca's Scrapyard and Two Star and the Dream Police from Mjay. Some of my favorite tracks from those albums were released in 2023. I did not include them here because I wanted to keep it fair and only include 2024 releases. Number 96, I Feel Like Joker, Hey Now, Kendrick Lamar and Dottie 6. And then at 95, we have Hey Jane by Tyler, the Creator. Fantastic lyricism on this one. At number 94, the absolutely gorgeous opener from the debut album from Joba of Brockhampton fame titled Ghost. At 93, the song is way too short, but still one hell of a vibe. Dodger Blue by Kendrick Lamar, featuring a lot of people. At 92, a cut from Two Star that did come out this year, that would be Elisis. At number 91, the track that started it all, It's Just Big Me, Like That, Future, Metro Boomin, and Kendrick Lamar. Number 90 is a cutoff of Quedeca's Scrapyard, It's What's It To Him. At 89, what an insane closer, 365 Party Girl bumping that, Charlie XCX. At number 88, my favorite cut from a surprisingly good album, this is Breathe by Yeet off of 2093. Number 87, the goat of weird experimental production himself, JPEG Mafia, making a track that's actually pretty smooth. That would be I'll Be Right There. At 86, another cut from Two Star, this one being DNM. Number 85, this is off of an album that I really did not care for, but this was a great lead single. This is Lithonia by Childish Gambino. At 84, I'm a sucker for those Metro Soul samples. This is Everyday Hustle, Future, Metro Boomin, and Rick Ross. At 83, it's another cut off of Chromacopia, this one being the first official release for the album, Noid. At 82, great guitar, great lyricism, a beautiful cut off of the new Rex Orange County album, that being The Table. At 81, we have my first inclusion of Clancy by 21 Pilots in the top 100. This is the closer off of the album Paladin Straight. Number 80, this is a cut off of Dark Times by Vince Staples. I can't get enough of this beat. This is Children's Song. At 79, this is a bit of a curveball. This is a track with only 2,000 or 3,000 streams that I only know because of a Hive Mind music stream. This is Memory Lane by Hideout. Go check it out. At 78, great energy and great chemistry on this one. This is JPEG Ultra off of I Lay Down My Life For You, JPEG Mafia, and Denzel Curry. At 77, we have another one of my favorites from Brat. This is 360. At 76, we have another great opener and a great lead single as well. This is Overcompensate by 21 Pilots. At 75, what a hard-hitting track, 4x4 by Don Toliver. And at 74, we have the opposite of that. This is You Tried That Thing Where You're Human by Quedeca. At 73, back to hard-hitting tracks, one of the hardest hitting of the year, Still in the Paint, Denzel Curry, Laser Dim, and BK the Ruler. Number 72, a track that not enough people mess with, Judge Judy by Tyler, the Creator. At number 71, this is a controversially low placement for this song. I think it's great, I just have 70 other songs that I like more. Either On or Off the Drugs by JPEG Mafia. At number 70, the Charisma King came back this January to add 3 more songs to his debut album. This is Tizo Touchdown with Up and Down. At 69, the most underrated song of the year, and I say underrated because it was off of a huge album but didn't get a lot of attention. This is Ain't No Love, Future and Metro Boomin. This is such a good song and ain't no love for it. At 68, this was a song I wasn't even sure if I liked at first, but at the end of the day, I'm just a sucker for that weird shit. This is It's Dark and Hell is Hot by JPEG Mafia. At 67, we have our first top 100 placement from one of my favorite rap albums of the year, Blue Lips. This is track 8, Cooties. And at 66, we have what's actually my least favorite song from Porter Robinson's Smile. This is Everything to Me. At 65, a fantastic snippet that ended up being a fantastic song, Squabble Up, Kendrick Lamar. And at 64, another one from Brat with absolutely crazy energy. This is track 7, Everything is Romantic. At 63, this is really some of the best rapping of the year, but it hasn't been out long enough for me to put it super high on the list. This is Reincarnated by Kendrick Lamar. And at 62, we have one of my favorites from the Billie Eilish album. This is L'amour de ma vie. Number 61, a track that was really slept on this year. I just can't get enough of the beat. Nunu by Schoolboy Q. At number 60, this was another single off of the 21 Pilots record. This is Backslide. At number 59, it's the A minor song. At number 58, one of the most overhated tracks of the year. This is Year of the Cup by Porter Robinson. At number 57, an explosive start to an incredible album, Saint Chroma, Tyler, the Creator, and Daniel Caesar. At number 56, the absolute banger of a track that is Hot One by Denzel Curry, Tia Corine, and A$AP Ferg. At number 55, we have a cut from another Brockhampton member pursuing their solo career. This was the second single off of Matt Champion's Mika's Laundry titled Slug. At number 54, it's Lil Yachty and everyone's favorite white boy Ian with Hate Me. And at number 53, we have another cut from the JPEG Mafia album. This is Vulgar Display of Power. At number 52, we have The Heart Part 6 by Drake. Nah, I'm just kidding. This is Heart Part 6 by Kendrick Lamar. And at number 51, finishing up the bottom half of the list, we have the absolutely beautiful Guitar Song by Rex Orange County. So now we're getting into the top half of the list where I'm gonna talk a little bit about each song. I'll try my best to still keep it short, but we are going to be properly running through all of these songs and making our way to the top of the list. I got way too many friends, I got way too many friends, I got way too many friends, I got way too many friends. Scrapyard was, of course, a fantastic album, and this was a great cut off of the album, or I guess a mixtape, I should say. We have Kodeka in his rap bag here, but what I really love about this track is his very unique style of production. Even though this isn't one of the weirder songs on the album, still has great production, and I just love that melody. I got way too many friends, I got way too many friends, yeah, awesome. So this was the lead single off of JPEG Mafia's I Lay Down My Life For You, and when it came out, I liked it, but I thought it was a little weak for Peggy standards since, you know, I always have super high standards for Peggy. And then the album came out and he added these strings at the end, and I absolutely love this song now. That one change made a world of difference, and now it's just one that I absolutely love coming back to. So shout out to Peggy for kind of recognizing where some things might have been lacking in that track and actually elevating the song to a new level of greatness. I hope you find yourself. I hope you find yourself. Take Your Mask Off. There's some fantastic rapping on this track. I really like all of the verses that he goes into, especially the last one where he starts talking to himself, telling himself to take the mask off and be honest with his listeners. It was a very vulnerable moment for him, especially since Tyler is always like I'm good, I don't have anxiety, I don't have self-doubt or anything like that. But then he takes off the mask and we see that there are certain thoughts that he deals with. Of course, his confidence still shines greatly on this album, but having this sort of vulnerable moment and really using it to get one of the main points of the album across was a very nice touch, and this is overall a very nice track with a beautiful chorus as well. That wave pool won't make me drown. So this is another curveball on my list. I only knew this song existed because of this, and it's a song that I've listened to a lot just in the past week or two, and wow, what a beautiful song. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about it. I'm really glad that I saw that on Brad's page because this is another one that only has, I think, around 2,000, maybe 2,500 streams. Yeah, this guy's really doing great things. It's a very well written and well produced song, and you guys should go check it out. Now this song was the lead single off of Joba's album when he officially released it in July, but the first time we heard it was actually in March when he previewed a live version of the song on his YouTube channel. And ever since I heard that, I was just like, wow, Joba is on a different level of songwriting right now. He's always been extremely talented, did great things in Brockhampton. He was always one of my favorite members. You could tell he really has this deep appreciation for music, for the art. Not saying the other members didn't, but Joba really has always been special. And hearing American Fever for the first time, it just blew me away with how much love he has for this. And you can really hear it throughout the entire debut album, but American Fever is definitely a standout that I think everyone should check out. It's kind of like a little Elton John, a little Chicago as well. Yeah, really cool stuff. Speaking of Brockhampton members, we have Matt Champion with another cut from Mika's Laundry. This is one of my favorites. It's a pretty short one that I didn't fully latch onto at first, but the more I listen to, it just has this super fun energy that you really can't find anywhere else. I really like what Matt Champion was doing throughout this entire album, and I think this one in particular is just one of them ones. It just sticks. This came in at number 11 on my top 100 for Spotify Wrapped. So I did listen to it a whole lot, And for good reason too. It's so easy just to put it on and vibe to it.
I don't hang with rats, that's some new type shit. Get a nigga wet, don't know.
So this was my favorite cut off of We Don't Trust You, and one of my favorite trap songs of the entire year. The beat from Metro is amazing. Super simple, but super catchy as well. Some people might not be a fan of the constant type shit repetition, but I think it works. It's really just a super catchy track. Also, the way it kind of switches up when it gets to Travis's part and then kind of goes back going into Cardi's part. It really is one hell of a song in my opinion, and definitely one that I had a deep appreciation for this year. People Need People is my favorite song off of Russell Boring by Joba. This was the second single for the album. I've always loved Joba's voice, and with this song it's no exception, but what I especially love about this song is the beautiful melody and the writing as well. It really is just a very sweet and heartfelt song, and I think it's one of the best that any Brockhampton member has put out in their solo careers. So at 42, we have another standout from Hit Me Hard and Soft. This one is just such a wild ride. The melodies are so beautiful, and the sort of lush production that kind of builds up towards the middle. It's so well done. Everything in this track is done very tastefully, and clocking in at 5 minutes, it really is quite the overall experience and really just has this vibe that I couldn't get enough of over the summer. With Midwest Indigo by 21 Pilots, one of my favorites from Clancy, this one just has this super fun energy that I always wanted to come back to. Specifically, the very end of the track actually reminds me a lot of their earlier work, like the Vessel days. And I think that's really cool because everyone was expecting this super conceptual, crazy record from 21 Pilots this year, similar to their 2018 record Trench. But this album really just felt like an album for the fans, and Midwest Indigo is a great representation of that because it really sort of harpens back to their old sound and just the fun energy that I feel like they've always brought. So I'm glad that all these years later, they're not losing the true spirit of why they make music, which is that, and also to get a message across. They've always just had this very interesting approach that I've always gravitated towards. I've been a fan for a very long time, since I was like 10 years old, so I do have a little bit of a bias, but Clancy was a great record, and Midwest Indigo, it's great. At number 40, it's another one from Porter Robinson's Smile. These aren't going to be going away anytime soon. This was the second single from the record. Could not get enough of it. It was one of my most streamed songs of the entire year. It was also the opening track to the album. What an explosive start. He just always has this great way of bringing you in with a melody. And yeah, overall, super fun one. And Bitch, I'm Taylor Swift is one of the best lines of the year.
Tears fall from the sky. Minding the hooligans, I think I'm losing.
Here we have Black and Blue by Vince Staples, one of my favorite rap songs of the year. Now, I have to admit, Dark Times is an album I wish I listened to a little more, really sunk my teeth into a bit more, but this in particular is really the opening track. It's track 2, but track 1 is kind of just an intro, and it was such a great way to start off the record. It just has this fantastic writing, fantastic beat as well, and it's just that kind of rap music that's good for the soul, I like to say. So yeah, great song, my favorite off of Dark Times, and I think that everyone should go check out that record. If you're a rap fan, definitely worth your time.
Walk in the strip, she gon' make it bad.
Now here we have one of the biggest bangers of the year. This came out as the lead single to Hardstone Psycho back in February. It has a Tame Impala sample. It samples One More Hour off of the Slow Rush. This track actually got me to go listen to the Slow Rush, and I was already a Tame Impala fan, but I had put off listening to that album for a while. So I guess I have Bandit to thank for getting me into that. It does use that sample incredibly well. It's just so much fun. A great performance from Don Toliver. And it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that this is my favorite off of that album.
Hey, what's up, though? I hate a bitch that's hating on a bitch and they both hoes. I hate a nigga hating on them niggas and they...
I hate a bitch that's hating on a bitch and they both hoes. TV Off, Kendrick Lamar. I kind of just see this song as Not Like Us But Better, and without the, context that Not Like Us has. I would say I like the beat more. I think that Kendrick brings great energy and a bit more of a dynamic performance than he does on Not Like Us. There is also that beat switch and of course the iconic mustard. So yeah, this is one that I have not been able to get enough of, and it's not going to be leaving my rotation anytime soon. So this is the shortest song off of Smile, and a lot of people would say it's the weakest. It's a really simple song. There's not a lot of depth to it, but I not only really like that, but this song is so incredibly catchy, and I just had to rank it above those other songs from Smile that I've covered so far. The 2010s sort of pop rock style that he's going for on a lot of this record, he nails it on this track, and he still brings sort of his own special style to it that makes this a true standout for me. I'm specifically talking about those vocal chops that you hear in the intro. So catchy. I know I sound kind of like a broken record saying this over and over, but this is one that I truly cannot get enough of. And yeah, shout out to Porter for being able to make such simple and yet such catchy songs. At 35, Sin Miedo, the second single off of I Lay Down My Life For You. First time I heard that beat, man, it blew me away. This one really goes for this sort of dance feel while also having that heavy metal guitar that he uses on a lot of this album in that sort of bridge section, if you will. There's just so much happening on this song, but he manages to pull it all off. Those sort of dancey vibes are very reminiscent of Scaring the Hose for Me, which was my favorite album of last year. And the sort of unique things that he's bringing in on this track really elevated to a new level. I still can't fully wrap my head around just how creative JPEG Mafia is. Very impressive work. Now, Charm was a record that I did listen to front to back one time. This song was trending, I got into the song, and then I wanted to check out the rest of the album from there. And while there are a few other cuts off of that album that I think are really special, they unfortunately did not crack my top 100, and they also do not come close to this track, Juna, which just has some of the sweetest melodies of the entire year. The end where she's doing the mouth trumpet and then it goes into the actual brass section there. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful song. If you're into those sort of vibes, do not skip this one. It got popular for a very good reason, and I'm glad that I was able to hop on that train this year. At 33, we have another one from Smile. This one in particular, Porter said is, at least right now, his favorite song that he's made. And I can kind of see why, because he's always had this special ear for melody, and this one specifically has just this incredible chorus. There's also great energy in the production that I think really elevates the performance here. And yeah, another standout off of the album. I mean, they're really all standouts for me. This one in particular is special for what it's going for, not only in terms of that vibe I described, but the lyrics as well, talking about Porter's nostalgia. It's a sentiment that I can relate to, and I think it's communicated very well in the lyrics, so shout out. So Purified by Matt Champion is my favorite cut off of his album, Mika's Laundry. He goes into these more fun, upbeat vibes for parts of the album, but this one is not that at all. It's just beautiful. It has this very nice guitar in it and a very smooth vocal performance from Matt Champion. It's really just a sweet song that I feel like anyone can vibe to, and it's one that I really connected with this year. So thank you, Matt Champion, for some great music this year. At 31, another cut off of Hit Me Hard and Soft. In the past, Billie Eilish has always been known for this sort of soft and whispery vocal delivery, and while we are kind of getting that delivery here towards the beginning of the song, towards the end she really just starts belting, and wow, it is incredible. It really blew me away the first time I heard it. She truly has an incredible voice, and the songwriting here is also, that big final moment at the end is fantastic, and I really like the lyrical content as well. Definitely one of my favorites from the album. So with Midwest Indigo, I was talking about how 21 Pilots always brings this super fun energy to their tracks, and Navigating is not only no exception of that, but they really ramped up the energy on this track with this one and another one that I'll be talking about much later. It almost has this 2000s pop punk energy to it in a way, but it still overall reads as a 21 Pilots song. But yeah, it's specifically the music here that I really like, especially that bass, the way that it just punches through at the beginning. Definitely one of my favorite moments on the album, and this song as a whole is one of my favorite songs on the album. At 29, we have one more from The Alexander Technique by Rex Orange County. This one being my favorite, of course. Rex gets into some very personal subject matter on this album, but this one in particular doesn't really go there, like in terms of his own mental health and all of that. This is really more of a sweet love song, and it has a melody that I think is just so easy to vibe along with.
When the door got closed, I ain't feel too bad. I'ma run mine up, I'ma have some stash. Now you in the broad purse, where you going out?
With Yearn 101 by Schoolboy Q, we have one of my favorite rap performances of the entire year. It's really just Q going crazy for 2 straight minutes. Yeah, it just has this fiery energy that not only makes this a great listen, but gives me this great appreciation for Schoolboy Q as a rapper. Yeah, this song is nuts.
I'm on my profit. If I run on the socket, run that shit up, bitch, on Sunday. Feeling iconic. You might do well.
Speaking of nuts, Hoodlums by Denzel Curry. When I was listening to the album for the first time, it took me a little bit to really get into the energy he was bringing on the album, but once I realized that he was really ramping up the energy, I got really excited. But then I was worried that that energy would kind of die down towards the end of the album, but he just keeps doing this. And Hoodlums being the last song, not only is it the song that goes the hardest on the album, but it is also my favorite song overall, obviously, since the entire point of the album is to make songs that go hard. And he really just nails it here with Hoodlums. The features do a great job. I especially love that ASAP Rocky verse right at the end. He just starts going crazy and then the song just ends. Like, it's really just all energy for 2 minutes straight, just like with Yearn. But it's specifically the production here that really just makes me want to like break something. It's insane.
I'm just living that life, but that's classic, but it's still pop.
Another song with great energy, my favorite song off of Brat. Von Dutch has this incredible production and great charisma from Charlie XCX as well. This is not only my favorite song on the album, but I truly think it is the strongest cut on the album. Everything that she's going for on Brat, I think she nails with Von Dutch.
She ain't never met no one who talk like that. And if you hang up on a nigga, bitch, I call right up.
And while we're on the subject of songs that go hard, Ratata by Tyler the Creator really is one of the best speaker knockers of the year. What's really special about this one is not only Tyler's unique style in production, but also what he brings to the table with his rapping. He's really just kind of being silly for this entire song, but it's over this incredibly hard beat that makes you want to bob your head and turn up the volume. And I think that's what's really special about Tyler. He always knows how to go hard, but he's always doing it in his own unique way. I especially love that the hook on this song is only 2 lines, and I really think it's one of the catchiest hooks he's ever made. Everything in the song just works so well, and it's a banger. At 24, we're going back to the deluxe for How Do You Sleep at Night from Tizo Touchdown. This is the 3rd and final song he included, and it is my favorite because not only does it have that great energy that Tizo is always bringing to the table, but the song is split into 3 parts that I think are all great in their own different ways. Tizo really just has such a creative mind, in my opinion, and the entire point of his music is just to have fun, and Third Coast really is one of the most fun songs of the year. At number 23, we have my favorite Mjay song of the year, and it's actually not on the album. This was a single released in August titled Lonely Fight. The production is just so smooth, and his vocals are as well. Mjay has this really interesting style that I think is really special, and this is, of course, no exception. I scream this in the mirror before I interact with anyone is the opening track off of I Lay Down My Life For You. What an opener this is. The heavy guitars and then the way it switches into these super loud electronic drums. This song just has the craziest energy, and it's not even 2 minutes long. This is a little reminiscent of what he did with Lean Beef Patty on Scaring the Hose, where he just makes this like really short song that lengthwise kind of plays as just sort of an intro, but he just jam packs it with energy, which is something that I've always appreciated about Peggy's approach.
Sweeter than the ocean blue.
Blue Slide, Schoolboy Q, beautiful beat, some very personal rapping from him as well. This really is one of my favorite rap performances of the year. I feel like I'm going to say that a lot, but this one is especially unique in the sense that Schoolboy Q is always known for bringing that sort of hard energy, and this one is kind of the complete opposite. This is him sort of getting more emotional, more confessional, and he really just slides over that beat, no pun intended, truly. Now moving into my top 20 of the year, we have another one that is just super smooth. This song kind of just feels like the best moments in life, you know, like when the sun is out and like you're just having a good time. Like, that's just what I feel when I hear these melodies. A lot of people are saying that this is one of Kendrick's best melodic cuts ever. I have to agree. It's just such a fun track, and I know this is a normie opinion because it is the track that's really popping off right now streaming wise, but it is my favorite off of GNX. Kitsune-me-san Freestyle was the 4th single off of the album, and when it came out I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely the weakest of the singles, but somehow this ended up really high on my list at number 19 because the more I listen to it, the more I realize it just has this quirky energy that I absolutely love. The lyrics are very tongue-in-cheek, but they're also very serious in a way that he's sort of being playful, you know, saying like, oh, they want to ID my hat, your girl wouldn't look good with my bag, and all of that. But he's kind of using it all to talk about how we use our physical appearance to sort of mask how we're feeling inside, or at least to kind of treat how we're feeling inside. And I think that's such a powerful sentiment. And the way that he gets it across with this honestly very goofy song is an approach that I've always loved from artists, and Porter just does it so well. And his production style really makes this song that I can just play over and over and over. Super catchy, really fun. One of my favorites from the album. At number 18, we have my second favorite song from Clancy. Oldie Station is this very heartfelt song on the album that Tyler actually dedicates to the fans, telling them in the hard times, push on through. While I always liked this song from release, I wasn't really expecting it to be one of my favorites until I ended up listening to it over and over and over and realized that it's a sentiment that I really connect with. I really love the lyrics, and in an odd way, this is kind of one of my theme songs for 2024. Not saying I was just trying to push on through for the entire year. Like, overall I love the year, but there were definitely some times, and this song really helped with that, or at least really helped me reflect on those times and what I've pushed through this year. So thank you, Tyler, for such a beautiful song. At 17, it's another standout from Scrapyard. This is one that blew me away ever since I heard the small snippet of it before the album came out, where the drums are going crazy at the end and he has those like chords. Like, his production always just blows me away. This one really did end up so high because of that production. I like what he's going for with the lyrics as well, but it's really the production that has me so in love with this song. And yeah, Quedeca is super talented. No Place Like Home, Vacations, another one of my most streamed songs of the year. At number 100, I brought in another cut from this album, Off Season. Vacations has this vibe with their music that I've always really enjoyed, and this new album from them that they put out in January is no exception. This song is just so beautiful. I really don't have anything else to say about it because it is really just this simple song that has this nice vibe that I like, and also great lyrics. So if you want to know what I'm really trying to say here but I can't find the words for, just give it a listen.
Have you ever played? Have you ever? Okay, nigga, let's play. Have you ever?
At number 15, it's my favorite Kendrick Lamar song of the year. This was really when the battle between him and Drake started to sort of ramp up. I do want to mention that I did actually like the disses that Drake was putting out, Push Ups and Family Matters. He definitely stood his ground until the very end, where he kind of threw it all away with the Hard Part 6, but Kendrick just brought this different energy. And, you know, earlier I was talking about Yearn 101, where he was just going off, you know, like spitting fire for 2 minutes. That's kind of what this song is, but this song is 6.5 minutes long, and it does have sort of that calm intro, But once that beat kicks in, he's off, and he is just spitting not only some of the most quotable lines of the year, but some of the most fire bars as well. This is the diss track in the battle that I went back to the most, definitely more than Not Like Us, but I would always just go back to this track, and every time I listened to it, I had to listen to the entire thing. Non-stop energy, non-stop fire. At 14, we have my favorite song from I Laid Down My Life For You. Ex-Military is this very special cut from JPEG Mafia. It's not one where he's trying to cram all of this energy into this short song like he was trying to do with the opener. This one is actually 5 minutes long, and it's this super dynamic performance from him with, of course, great production and a great rapping performance as well. I especially love that one part of the beat, the part that I previewed in the clip before I started talking. And yeah, I just especially love this track for just being this very complete song off of the album. Thought I Was Dead, another big banger of the year. The verse that Tyler delivers at the end is my favorite rap verse of the entire year. The Schoolboy Q feature is also fantastic. And yeah, it's really just unbelievable the sort of energy that Tyler can bring to the table. Mona Lisa is a track off Smile where really its entire purpose is just to be fun. There's not a lot of very deep lyrical content, but the production on this track is insane. And Frost Children also have a great feature that really adds to this energy. This is one that especially goes hard live. I was at the Porter Robinson concert back in September, and this was also one of my favorite songs from the album when it first dropped, just because of that incredible energy that Porter's always bringing to the table. Now, I know it's crazy to have this song this high. Oh my gosh, the TikTok song. Now listen, guys. The day this album came out, I listened to it, and right away, this was my favorite song. It continued to grow on me really because of the sentiment that she brings forward in this song. It is also just like a beautiful song sonically. So yeah, I have some very deep emotional attachments to this song. So yeah, I just want to let you guys know that this is not a TikTok song moment, that I really love this song because of some real life shit. Moving into the top 10, Darling I, Tyler the Creator, and Tizo Touchdown. Oh my gosh, the chorus is so catchy. The song kind of has this early 2000s vibe to it, and it's just so easy to dance to vibe to. This album really proved that Tyler is such a dynamic artist. It's crazy that he's able to make songs that go so hard like Ratata and Thought I Was Dead, but then also have something as smooth as Darling I. This is one that I'm especially going to be running up a whole bunch moving forward. And yeah, one of the catchiest songs of the entire year.
Heard a real ass nigga won't die. Shit, a legend like me can't die. I'm alive. Who lied?
Number 9, Thank God For Me. I would say that this is my favorite rap song of the year. We are going to be getting into one more song that is technically a rap song, but I don't really think of it as a rap song. Not only does this track have incredible rapping on it, but the beat switches are actually mind-blowing. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a super memorable one. Definitely my favorite off of Blue Lips as well. Easier to Love You, Porter Robinson. A beautiful letter to self here from Porter. Gorgeous melodies, and the synth that he uses at the end, that part really gets me. But yeah, definitely some of my favorite lyrical content, and I find it great how Porter can bring such fun energy to a lot of these tracks, but he's also very good at making a more emotional cut. I mean, he's always been good at making emotional cuts, but this one specifically stands out to me a lot for what it's doing lyrically. And number 7, speaking of powerful lyrics and powerful sentiments, Like Him, easily one of the most emotional songs of the entire year. Tyler really digging deep into feelings he has about not growing up with a father, which is stuff that he touched on a lot in his earlier music, but here it's really through this different lens where we're seeing this super emotional side of Tyler, just asking his mom, am I really similar to him in these ways? Like, he wouldn't know. And obviously he's had this great career without him, and he's said multiple times like, no, I'm okay with the fact that I've never met him or that he's not part of my life because, you know, look at where I'm at now. I've already gotten everything I needed. But him taking this approach and putting this song on the album was really special, really powerful. The vocal performance from Lola Young is beautiful, and Tyler's mom talking at the end, man, that hits. Going into another very emotional song, this is the closer off of Scrapyard. And what I love about this song so much is that it really feels like a closer. Scrapyard wasn't meant to be this super conceptual album. He actually labels it as a mixtape because it's kind of all of these, I don't want to say throwaway songs, but songs that just didn't fit in any sort of conceptual project. He just kind of wanted to put all of these songs together as just kind of cool ideas he had, stuff he was playing around with. Obviously, it is so much more than that because he really spent a lot of time, put in a lot of effort with these songs, and Texas Blue is of course no exception because at the end of the album here, he really has what feels like this end credits moment with Kevin Abstract. And yeah, the song really just wowed me for how much of a final moment it was for a project that wasn't even supposed to be an album like that. Quedeca and Kevin Abstract both have incredible performances here. And once again, Texas Blue is no exception when it comes to Quedeca's extremely talented production. While this was a track that I loved so much for it being such a closing moment, there is one more track that I thought was an even greater closing moment for the album that it was on, and that is
Almost had a mini me, I wasn't ready. And she wanted it with me, I'm talking heavy. Then we had to get.
This song was just the perfect way to end Chromacopia, and I can't believe I'm saying it's my favorite from the album, but I really think this song is perfect, and I'm not gonna lie, I think it's Tyler's best closer ever. Not saying it's the best song that he's made that happens to be the last song on the album, because of course there are other fantastic songs such as Are We Still Friends or Okage California, or even Safari. That's a Tyler track that I absolutely love. But when we're talking about songs or closers in the context of the album, I Hope You Find Your Way Home just does everything. It has that piano that Tyler loves to use, an incredible rap verse that really just feels like him rapping all of his emotions that he went through on this album, just kind of wrapping it up, putting a little bow on it. And the synth solo at the end is my favorite moment on the entire album. I honestly think that this is such a powerful closer that it could be the closing track for Tyler's entire career. Obviously it's not, obviously he's gonna keep making music, but hypothetically, if this were to be his last album, me listening to this song, I would be like, yeah, this really feels like a true ending. Like he really went all in on just having this beautiful closing moment to Chromacopia. So shout out to Tyler for making such an incredible album and ending it in such a beautiful way. At number 4, we have my favorite track off of Clancy, Next Semester. Now when the song first came out, I didn't fully get it. I thought the energy was cool, but not everything in the song was fully clicking with me. But after a few listens, I was like, oh my gosh, this song is such a journey. Not only with the super fun energy that it starts with, but the way it sort of builds up that energy and then breaks it all down at the very end. It's incredible, and I'll just say I think it's one of the best songs that the band has ever made. I describe you when you're not around. Now at number 3, we have one more from Scrapyard. This is my favorite song off of the album. Texas Blue does come very close, but this one is just so special to me because it's so different for Quedeca. I often praise him for his crazy production, but this one is super stripped back. It's really just acoustic guitar and some strings and his voice. And it's only a 2-minute song, but it's super emotional, has this beautiful writing, this beautiful sentiment of Quedeca being sort of like the guide dog for someone he loves. He said that he actually wrote this about someone that he loves that does actually have very bad eyesight, which made me like this song even more because it makes the guide dog sentiments that he's talking about feel so real. And I'm just such a sucker for an acoustic ballad like Guide Dog. The emotions in this track just blow me away, and yeah, Quedeca really did it with this one. Now here we would be moving into number 2, but I actually have a tie for number 1. I can't exactly say which of these songs is better, but yeah, if you've been paying attention, you know which 2 songs they are. They are
It's not fair.
Yeah, so these are obviously my 2 favorite songs off of Smile and my 2 favorite songs of the year. Starting with Cheerleader, this was the first single and it was really the song that got me super into Porter this year. I've known who he is for a very long time, but it wasn't until this year after the release of Cheerleader that I really started to fully get into him. Cheerleader is just a perfect pop song. Like everything from the somewhat quirky but still pretty serious lyrics in terms of him diving into his relationship with his fans, to the incredible production. And that main synth line is honestly one of the catchiest melodies I've ever heard. And then with Russian Roulette is not only a very catchy song just like Cheerleader, but it's this whole emotional journey. It's the longest song off of the album at 6.5 minutes. The subject matter that he's diving into is so powerful. Has some of my favorite writing from the entire year. And throughout this entire song, you know, he's going through all the stuff that he has to deal with in his career and how it can kind of lead to some, let's just say, not so nice thoughts. And then just at the end, how he reflects on all of these things that he loves about life and says, I don't want to die. It's this crazy emotional roller coaster that I connected with so much this year. And man, Porter really did it, not just with the song, but with the entire album. So yeah, those are my top 100 songs of the year. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will also be making an albums video, so stay tuned for that. Before we wrap things up, I did want to add a few more songs that I have an appreciation for. I didn't put them on the list because I didn't know exactly how to rank them next to other songs, because for these songs, I do have a lot of personal bias coming into play. These are all songs that my friends have released this year. My friend Laura, or Laurita, released a song called Love Love back in February. My friend Mjay, also known as Mjay on Spotify, released 4 songs this year. Check them all out. And you can also find songs from my friend Sunshine on her YouTube channel. All great songs. I have some very talented friends, so please go and check all of that out. And while you're at it, check out the 15 songs that I put out this year on my album Love Letter. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that this isn't too much of a pain to edit. Also, let me know if you're liking the setup. I'm pretty excited about it. Hopefully I can make some more videos like this in the future. So yeah, that's about it. Peace.